What's up, Matt from Urchfab here. This is going to be part one of the Ford Pinto race engine, which is being built by Evans Power with the support of Burton Power as well. So I've decided to do an engine swap on the car after originally having a naturally aspirated MX-5 engine in there with 160 horsepower, which just had a set of throttle bodies and an exhaust system on it. Ran the car like that for quite a while and decided I wanted to up the power, and the easiest way to do that was to turbocharge it. Fitted a turbo kit with all the right bits, and the car made really good healthy power. Took the car to Steve at PVE, he tuned it with a max ECU, and this was the result. So you might be thinking, why would you ever want to change that? But ultimately, I came to realise that I just had more fun in the car when it was naturally aspirated. And ultimately, it's all about having fun. So made the decision that I wanted to switch the car back to having a naturally aspirated engine. And that's where I got chatting with Steve Evans from Evans Power, and we started talking about putting a Pinto in there. Between Steve and Burton, they're going to be sponsoring me a 200 brake race engine. Steve has been filming and documenting the build so far, and Steve's old school, straight talking, builds the engines at home, and I think a lot of you guys will relate to him and appreciate that. So I'm going to leave you now with Steve. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah, that bloke don't build engines in his front room, no way. Yeah, I do. There's a 2.2, there's a cheap 1600, Mr. Urchfab's, that's Black Betty, that's Golden Old Gold. That one there is for Malcolm. That one there is Banks's, that's been here forever. And good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a cold and frosty one. Myself and the Hound Cato are on our way to our number one sponsor, Burton Power. I've given them a huge list of parts for the Urchfab Evans Power Burton Power Pinto, and they said, yeah, okay, best you come over. So, well, it is cracker sparrow. As you can see, the car's still frosted up. We're going to defrost that. Cato is keen as mustard, though he ain't going to be so keen when he sees the Woolwich Ferry, because he hates that bloody thing. So we're on our way. Update shortly. We have arrived. Burton Power, the mecca of all things full tuning. We're here to pick up some bits for myself, Mr. Vulcan and Urchfab, and HTs. And you will walk in and look at your nice little display cabinet, a few bits and pieces. Ooh. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Funk Motorsport goodies. Got everything in here, from latex gloves, all your oil supplements, lead substitutes, coolants. Oh, you name it. If you need it for a Ford, this is the place to come. Yeah. The old hero wall. Various people that have been sponsored or are sponsored by Burton's. Now the old camera don't want to pick it up there. There's the Mighty, up there nice and proud. Stonking crossflow. Mr. Burton has donated a standard injection head. Mitch has been looking after us. He's been and got my big list of parts, which are mostly here. A couple of bits ain't in stock, so I've got to come back for, but we've got rocker cover, big valves, flywheel bolts, ball studs, valve springs, bearings, set of lovely acrylites, illumination kit, gaskets, water pump, oil pump, HT leads. That should get the ball rolling. Welcome, 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 Evans Power. Whoop whoop. Right, this is my trial video. We'll see how it goes. This is a crankshaft that I'm doing for the legend that is Matt Urch. Myself and Burton Power are now going to sponsor him with a hill climb track day special Pinto, and I've started on the crankshaft. Very basic stuff. I'm just giving it a whiz over with the dear old Dremel, some 80 grit drums to start with, then it'll be 120, then 400, then 600, and then once we get the flywheel, that will be double dowel to the crank, and along with the front pulley will all be sent off for balancing. So that's where it's starting. My array of Dremel bits, and I've just bought a load more, and as I speak the hound Cato comes in to destroy some box or other. So right, well, on I go. That's what I'm doing, literally just taking all that rough textured finish off. So it comes up quite nice. It does take a little bit of time. Right, back on Matt's engine, and we've been donated a set of Cosy YB rods. In fact, I've been donated 2 sets. So I've already checked these weight wise, and they are all bang on the money, like within 1/4 gram of each other, which is lovely. I'm just giving them a cleaner. As you can see, this is what they were like, and that's what they come up like. You can see how quick and easy these come up. You can hear it's not munching at the metal. It really is very, very soft. Right, one of the little jobs that people don't really see, or don't understand how much goes into building engines. Everything's got to be cleaned, whether it's been through the hot wash, the degreaser or whatever. So we got all the main cap bolts, a couple of locator dowels, a couple of the others I've already done are in the block, but this gives you an idea. You can see, and then just a couple of seconds. This one I'm halfway through. Going to go over this one again, just had a first pass. You've got to get all that off. It's got to be immaculate. It's just not worth risking building an engine with all that crud going inside. Right, when you're also cleaning these caps, I'll get down in here. I use one of these Goodson brushes from Burton's. Got a set of them, all different sizes. All you got to do, get it in there, bit of brake cleaner, give it a good rodding through. I'll do it before I clean it with a wire wheel, and then again after I've cleaned it with a wire wheel. Righto, and another little tip for you, if you like, if you haven't got a parts washer, or you have and it's a ball ache to fire up, or it becomes a table like mine often does, rather than clear all that off, you know, get it all plugged in, fire it up, grab a bit of brake cleaner, an old plastic tennis ball tube this is. I've put some of my block bolts in it, literally, bit of shake. Then what I'll do is I'll get these in the vise. I once over with the soft brass wire wheel, then I'll throw away this fluid, put in some clean, and then rinse them all again, so we know everything's nice and clean. Do it right, lads, do it right. Right, so what am I up to today? although this isn't Matt's cylinder head, Mr. Urchfab, it will give you an idea of what I will be doing to his cylinder head as soon as it comes back from Vulcan's, where it's having its valve seats cut and bronze guides fitted. What I'll be doing is, once I've done a little bit of pulling, I'll be onto the chamber work, and all I do with the chamber is, if you can see that there, is literally I just take off this rough mottled finish, and that's nothing more than 80 grit drum rolls. I may go 120 or 400 later, but just for now, that's all I'm doing. Is I'm just going to clean up all the combustion area there. Unfortunately, my shed is a little bit damp, so as you can see, it doesn't take much for the old rust to start forming again, but you can see the difference in the chamber finish. That's what it's like, very mottled finish, and then we get something like that. Yeah, let's crack on. Right, so I finished on the exhaust side. All has come out rather well. Now I'm onto the inlet side again. This isn't Matt's cylinder head, but it'll give you an idea of what I'm doing. This one is an injection casting, as you can see, because of the scallops for the injectors. I have got a head that's had them machined out. That's not an injection head, so be careful when you're buying them. They're not always what they might appear to be. But what I've done with this one is I've got a valve that's machined down to the size that I want, for what I think is the right size on these ports, and I'm using Roland Hayes' old section of a cylinder head that he gave me as my guideline. That makes the port just the right size for me. As you can see, don't go in that one, and the one that I haven't done yet, I'll give you an idea of the difference. So should just fall through, just a slightly snug fit, a little bit more on that one. There we go. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. So what I'm currently doing is I'm bluing the seats. And what do I mean by bluing the seats? Is I've got some engineer's blue, a little paintbrush, and you just paint the valve where the seat is. Probably see that. There we go. And then all you do is you pop it in, give it a little twiddle, and it will leave a blue mark where the valve's going to be seating. And then I know how much material I can or can't remove from each throat. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So exhaust I've just done, now to do inlets. Little twisty twist, pull that out, and as you can see, if you can see that, not the best angle, but as you can see, I was very cautious and I've left loads of material that I can remove. Right, let's get to it. Right, this is Mr. Urchfab's block, just back from HT Racing and Vulcan. It's been bored, honed, and very light skim on the deck face. And while I'm waiting for Matt's crank to be double doweled to the flywheel, because then I've got to send it off to be balanced, what I've done is I've grabbed another crank which is the same stroke, so it may be 1 or 2 fair difference, maybe a couple more, but not enough to worry about. So what I'm going to do is I've quickly put this crank in just on 3 caps, three pairs of bearings. They're used bearings because the cranks come out of another engine, and I've got one of the cosy rods, one of the pistons, and what I'm going to do is going to assemble it all up, and then we'll see where this sits at TDC, measure it, and then we'll take all 4 pistons up to HT Racing, who will then machine the crown to the desired depth that I want to get the compression ratio that I want to run in Matt's engine. Right, that's the rod, crank, and 1 piston in, as you can see. Right, if you haven't got one of these DTI gauges and a mag mount and you're going to build an engine, you don't necessarily need one of those. I've been building them without one, but I loaned one out and it never came back, so I had to buy another. Anyway, if you want to measure your TDC, you can do it with one of these calipers. it will tell you how much out of the bore that is. Now everyone will say, oh, it's not that accurate because you could move it up and down. Well, yeah, you can. This is just to give you a rough clue. You can't beat doing it with DTI gauge and the flat bar. Right, my apologies, the battery went flat, and by the time I've charged it up, I've finished fitting the oil pump and pickup on Mr. Urchfab's engine. So I've come out into the shed of doom, and Kato's just joined me to explain to you what I was doing basically. Now, real common problem we find with Pintos is people take their oil pump out, and what they don't realise is sometimes this locating dowel comes out with the pump, and then they get their new pump, which as you can see doesn't come with a dowel, and this one that's come out of an engine didn't come out with a dowel, it stayed in the engine. They fit their new pump, and when they fit their new pump on the block, you can actually move it a couple of millimeters in either direction, left to right, and what that will do is the hex drive shaft that comes out the bottom of the dizzy into here, that's driven by the auxiliary shaft, they snap, and then you've suddenly got no oil pressure. And then they take their dizzy out, they pull the shaft out, oh, they blame it on the shaft or the dizzy, and then they put a new hex drive in and it snaps again. If you start snapping those hex drives, I always keep loads. If you keep snapping them, 100% it will be that you haven't put that little dowel in. I even keep loads of spare dowels out of old blocks, because I get loads of messages from people that have thrown their old oil pump away, struggling to find one of them, but you can actually buy them from Burton's, of course. But yeah, so if you've done an oil pump change, you might want to check that you've remembered this dowel. That's it for today.
So that's going to be it from Steve for this episode, part 1 of the Pinto build. Just want to say massive thanks to Steve for taking the time to film this and document it. He did a really good job, and it was made the editing very easy. So I appreciate that, and huge thanks to Burton Power as well for obviously supporting the build and being a part of it. I've recently rebuilt the Quaife straight cut gearbox to go behind this engine. So if you're interested in seeing how a 4-speed straight cut gearbox comes apart and goes back together, then there's a link for that video here. If you want to get hold of Steve regarding a Pinto engine build, then all his details are in the description. And if you need any performance Ford parts, then Burton Power is your place, and their details are in the description as well. So just want to say thanks again to Steve, thanks again to Burton, and thanks to everyone for watching. See you on the next one.